Hi there, this is Alvin from Dr. Wealth. This video's topic is about GXS Bank, the joint venture between Singtel and Grab. So the alarming news that we got is it's going to offer an interest rate on their savings account at 3.48%. This is rather high. And I want to give you some comparison over here. At such a rate of 3.48%, you get this rate only if you put in, say, fixed deposit or even buying some bonds or treasury bills, right? So I have some comparison over here for you. And CPF, as we know, ordinary account is at 2.5%, and you have to lock in until 55 years old. And ICBC 3 months fixed D is about 3.5%, Citibank 3 month fixed D is about 3.86%, T-bills, Singapore T-bills 6 months is at 3.86% as well, and Maybank 12 months fixed D is at 3.9%. So you can see that they are typically comes with lock-in, and usually they are also minimum deposit that's required. But for GXS, it's pretty much simpler. It has no lock-in. You can withdraw your money anytime you want, and usually for such liquidity, it's very unlikely you're going to get 3.48%. So that is why it's quite shattering news to a lot of depositors who's looking for higher interest or high yielding savings account. And I will share more advantages. It does not require any minimum balance. You want to put in $1, $10, you will also get to enjoy that higher interest rate. And there's no fees of like certain banks require you to have minimum deposit. Otherwise, they will charge you a monthly fee. So there isn't this minimum amount that you need to maintain in GXS Bank. And interest is also paid daily. This is beneficial because, for example, a savings account, typically you want to keep it liquid so that you can withdraw anytime. But let's say if the interest is only credited at the end of the month, if you withdraw some of your savings for expenses within the month, you might not get as a high interest at the end of the day. But as for the daily interest, is a different story. So which means that you might end up getting more interest as opposed to a longer period of crediting. So that is another pro for this GXS Bank. And now let's go more towards the things that you need to take note of. So one of the things that you need to make sure, if let's say you have a GXS saving account, make sure that you create a pocket. Okay, so they call it a pocket. It's usually like a savings goal. Like for example, what they gave was you want to save $2,500 for a Japan trip, you want to have $800 to buy new wheels for your bicycle, or $200 for your shoes. So only these pockets will receive that 3.48%. If you never create this pocket, if you just leave your money there, you will only get 0.08% as a base interest. So it is not difficult to create, and you can just park all your money over there. Okay, create any savings goal you want, and you will be able to enjoy that 3.48%. So this is just a small admin issue that you need to take note of. Another good news is that they also raised the savings limit to $75,000, and that is the limit where the SDIC insurance is at. So you can be sure that your savings are safe in the account. Just now I compared the 3.48% against some of the fixed deposit and T-bills and even CPF, but they are not really equivalent in that sense, because a savings account is meant to be very liquid with no lock-in period. And now let's compare to the other savings account offered by Trust Bank as well as the 3 local banks. And you can see the interest rate range can be pretty wide, right? So for the 3 local banks, it's quite standard. The base rate is 0.05%, but they are usually hurdle account, which means that you need to engage in more banking services, then you will get higher interest rates. So these are what we call hurdle account, right? So like salary crediting, some even need a minimum salary crediting amount and minimum spend on certain credit cards. So the more you bank with the banks, then you will get to enjoy a higher interest rate on your savings account. Comes with a lot of caveats. This is unlike GXS, where there is no hurdle that's required. You can just get a 3.48%. You don't need to spend more. You don't need to borrow money from the bank, and you still get to enjoy that 3.48%. And with Trust Bank, the base rate is higher at 1.5%, but in order to get that 2.5%, you need to be an NTUC Union member, and you also need to make 5 purchases on a monthly basis in order to get an additional 1%. So you can see that GXS really simplified a lot of things. There is no strings attached. You can get 3.48% and up to that $75,000. I think that one of the 3 local banks will be a core bank, right? Because that's where you really do a lot of transaction, where you have credit your salary in it. and then probably the extra saving can be put into GXS, and you have more than that, you might even consider Trust Bank, etc. Right? Of course, fixed D, T-bills can be also additional consideration, right, depending on whether you want your money locked in. But all in all, what we can say about this GXS offer is that they offer you fixed D interest rate with no lock-in period and without any minimum deposit. Okay, so that is, I believe, the main attractiveness of what GXS is offering the depositors. And the other thing that you need to know is that this GXS savings account currently is full, right? That was an announcement that was made in their website, which means that they are pretty popular, right? I think that many are drawn by their 3.48%. And they did say that they're going to open new slots, but you need to be in a queue. So in order for you to really enjoy this, you need to download their app and you need to express your interest, and you'll be on the waiting list. And I believe that this might be due to the limit, right? Because these new digital banks with the license that they receive from MAS can only accept up to 50 million deposit in total. Looking at that, at let's say 75,000 per customer, it only requires 667 customers that will easily hit the 50 million. And 600 depositor is not a very huge number. So I believe that it is a case where they might have hit their limit given the very attractive 3.48%. And rumor has it that this $50 million will be raised, and I believe that it makes sense. Otherwise, there's just too little depositors. Anyway, at 75,000 per pax is insured by SDIC, in a sense that the risk management has already been in place. The total amount of deposit should expand for these digital banks. So would you move money into GXS Bank given its attractive interest rate? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and you'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.